my opinion on that, obviously I'm not a Liverpool fan, is that he is a good manager. You can't do what he done last season without being a good manager. I mean, he had a good reputation before that was forged abroad in Holland, so I didn't know too much about him, but I was very impressed with what he did last season. And even the start of this season, when they were winning those games, especially coming from behind and showing that resilience, you're thinking, yeah, this is a guy that knows what he's doing. I was also impressed with the way he dealt with the Ekitike situation. If you remember when Ekitike got himself sent off foolishly, I liked the way he dealt with that situation. And even Ekitike came out and said, look, the manager had a word with me, told me that I need to, correct himself, and it seemed all good. And then they went on this little run of losses, which was shortly after that incident, by the way. So yeah, I never saw that coming, and I'm not going to say I've got serious doubts about him, because it could be just one of those blips that do happen. We've had them in the past at Arsenal. We had one last season. So.
I mean, Man City had them at one point when it was they lost 4 and drew. Like, they had a game where they didn't win for like 8 games.
Exactly. So inevitably, in a long season, especially in a league like the Premier League, which is so unpredictable at times, it's very physical, very intense. You are going to get blips. Liverpool fans will be hoping that their blip has come early in the season as opposed to later. They're thinking, if we can overcome this with a win against you guys, get back on track, it's all good. So yeah, I've got no doubt that Liverpool bounce back. What we need to do from an Arsenal perspective is just keep picking up points. Don't worry too much about what Liverpool are doing now. We're in front now. We should be blinkered and thinking ahead, winning games, and just quietly just being efficient and effective. Hopefully go on and win the title.
Yeah, I mean, clubs looking behind them sometimes is a bad thing.
It is.
Like, when you're in a 100-meter sprint, when you're in a race, you don't. Like, I remember, because I used to sprint. That was like my sport when I was a kid.
Yeah.
One thing my coach would hammer into me: don't look at anyone else. Exactly. If you're on that race, you're on that final 100-meter sprint. I know we're not in the 100-meter sprint yet for the Premier League, but at this point, it's don't look left, don't look right, just look at the finish line. I feel like Arsenal have to, you just look at that finish line, look towards Christmas, then towards the end of February, then towards making sure you're all right during the Champions League knockout stages, because obviously on the assumption that they go there. But this by no means is this me saying Liverpool are, they're not in this title race or anything.
They're very much in.
They're what, 2 points behind you?
Yeah.
Oh no, win against United, and then suddenly I know you've got a really Arsenal very blessed run of fixtures. Arsenal a very blessed run of fixtures. Liverpool have, as Jay Jackson here, big up for the super chat, thank you. He does say, not a Liverpool fan, but Liverpool have had tricky fixtures. I wouldn't fall into a trap so soon. Stamford Bridge is historically not an easy place to go. I do agree, but when you look at the next 5 games, statistically, Arsenal have the easiest next 5 games. Liverpool have the second hardest. So yes, Liverpool have had tough fixtures, but so have Arsenal.
Well, you guys
have had really tough fixtures, which is why there's only a 2-point gap. But I think it's one point. But I think what's the thing here about Liverpool is that yes, they're top of the league, and we said this when they were winning, it wasn't a sustainable method of football. Like, you can't win 38 Premier League games in the 85th minute onwards. Like, it does, your luck does run out. And Liverpool do really need to kick into gear, and they can. There is such an easy way. Obviously, I'm not a manager, but I feel Arne Slot, it's only a matter of time until he does kind of kick into gear. Same with Man City. They did, like, the whole of last season felt a bit weird for City, and then first couple of games of this season they had a bit of a Club World Cup hangover. But now it feels like they're starting to get into gear. Like, Erling Haaland now has, I think it's 12 goals for them so far this season already. That's insane. I believe only Harry Kane has more. And internationally, I think they're both on 18 each, because Haaland's got 5 or 6 for Norway so far this season. There's a lot about Liverpool which I feel is yet to come, but they've not been anywhere near the base performances. Like, because it's not like some of their players have had bad performances. Ekitike has been fantastic. Gravenberch has been fantastic. McCall's been amazing. Like, these guys have been good. But then I feel like their top dog, Salah, has let them down. He has let them down this season, because, like, it feels like he's... like, the word ghosting... Like, it just comes to mind.
I would hesitate to use that word with a guy that's done so well in previous seasons.
Yeah, that's why I'm slightly hesitant to use it, because Salah can always just suddenly kick into gear.
That's right.
He does do it, and he'll drop out of form, and then suddenly he'll score 10 games in a row. Exactly. Or he'll be involved 10 games in a row. But Liverpool, they're on a bit of a... It's just a bit precarious, isn't it? Like one more loss, especially against Amorim's United, could like spell bad news for them in terms of suddenly, it's just suddenly gets like.
What I would say about Liverpool, if you look at like their two big signings, their two heavy hitters, they've not started to come good yet. Okay, Isak's only just rocked up there and didn't have a pre-season. So, I can kind of understand that one a little bit. But the Florian Wirtz one is obviously, if you're a Liverpool fan, going to give you more cause for concern because he's not really hit the straps yet. But then, like you said, these are quality players. I'm a big believer in the old adage, class is permanent, form is temporary. So at some point, these guys are going to kick in. What we need to do as Arsenal is to make sure that in the meantime that they're not at it, struggling somewhat, is that we just keep piling up points. Like you said, tunnel vision, blinker, just keep thinking ahead.
Yeah.
But I do, to go back to an earlier point, I do believe there is something in that psychology of sometimes, not all the time, sometimes when you're being chased as opposed to doing the chasing, there is a little bit more pressure on you because every week you rock up to these grounds, you got a target on your back. Teams are going to want to take you down, not just because you're Arsenal Football Club, but now you turn up as, table toppers. Everybody wants to say, we took points off them or even we beat them, you know what I'm saying? So the pressure does start to become a little bit more ramped up. Can Arsenal deal with that pressure? Because we've seen a couple of times previously where we've not quite, for whatever reason, been able to get it across the line. There's also going to be pressure on the manager, even more scrutiny on every decision, every team selection, every in-game management decision now is going to be ramped up just that little bit more. Personally, I think he has what it takes to deal with it. I'm hoping that a couple of the mistakes he made earlier on, notably the Liverpool game and the Man City games, I think he was a little bit, if not negative,
safe.
not, proactive enough. I'm hoping that when those situations do present themselves later on in the season, that he would have learnt from that. But only time will tell.
Yeah. So a couple of the comments they have corrected me. I didn't mean when I said McAllister's been good, I didn't mean McAllister. I meant Szoboszlai. I feel like he's been quite good so far this season, having to fill in midfield and centre back. That is my bad. I know McAllister's not been fantastic. Jay Jackson says, big up for the super chat again, says these results are posh when there's 6 pointers on the running. I don't agree with that because 3 points is 3 points no matter where it happens in the season. Liverpool beat Arsenal and they're still behind. This is what I mean, in that I feel like Liverpool, they've stumbled at points. The 3 points against Arsenal was, I think, down to Arteta, as you just mentioned, Arteta not being brave enough and maybe not trusting his team enough, or trusting Eze enough to start, for example, instead of coming off the bench, than you probably should have. And when they come back to the Emirates, I think, depending on Liverpool's form, Arteta will look at that and go, we need to win that one. Because you can win that one. Obviously, you drew against City away from so at home, but then City, they're beatable. Their defence still looks dodgy. I feel like Arsenal, you're in the best place, which is out of those three clubs right now after these first 7 games to go on and win. Obviously, you're in the best place. You're top of the league. If you win every game, you've won the league. But obviously, you're not going to win every game.
Wish it was that simple, but yeah.
Yeah, it's never. Football is never that simple.